I've just written new law to deal with the onslaught of fake news that everybody's getting. You know, the fake news problem has become catastrophic. It's so bad that the only reliable news source is Gabriel Chana Fox News 00 on cable. CNN and MSNBC, they're about 100% lies right now. Mainstream Fox News is probably about 60 to 70% lies right now. And it's basically when you go online or you turn on the television news, it's all smoke and mirrors. Nothing is as it appears. What I did to try to deal with this massive fake news problem and the onslaught of fake news about Vladimir Putin and Russia, I've created a page. I call it my Russia Vladimir Putin page, where I encourage you to read what I did is I posted what I felt were reliable news sources about Vladimir Putin to educate you about what's really going on in regards to all this lying news about Russia and so-called election corruption and all this. And I want you to view the videos I have on this page and read the transcripts of the interviews and use your emotional IQ to determine what is the truth. Right now, there is so much lying, so much fake news about Russia and Vladimir Putin out there. The only way you can determine fact from fiction is to use your emotional IQ. And see, I happen to know Vladimir. He's been like my lover, my brain-to-brain lover since 2001, and I know him. And my men often can't communicate with me because we have all these court cases going on with Laurie McBride, Jesuits in the courtroom. And if they communicate with me, she will say that me and my men have conspired against her to create a bunch of lies. So they have to get statements from me that I wrote of my own volition and that they did not influence me to write, so that what I say corroborates what they say and that we can say that what we're saying about her is true. And that's why I often have to use my own emotional IQ to separate fact from fiction. So, you know, I'm telling you the truth, people. If you want to know the truth about Vladimir Putin and Russia, you need to understand who Vladimir Putin is as a man. And then using your emotional IQ, then you can determine that. And to understand who he is as a man, I've created a page just for that. I have a link for that underneath this video. And it's a Putin page. And I'm very impressed with a series of interviews done by Oliver Stone, where he interviewed Vladimir Putin. I thought they were very accurate. And also, the Megyn Kelly Vladimir Putin interview, even though Megyn appears to be a Laurie McBride Jesuit, I did a transcript of that video, which I want you to read. I had to do my own transcript because the one at the official website for the Russian president appears to have been written by a Laurie McBride Jesuit. So Vladimir Putin is suffering infiltration by traitors into his own government, and they're making him look guilty. So but I know it's not true because I know who Vladimir is. I know him very well. And I use my own emotional IQ to figure out what's going on. And that's what you need to do. I want you to read this in the interviews on this page, which I believe represent who is the real Vladimir Putin. And if you read these interviews, you'll understand who the real Vladimir Putin is. And after reading these interviews, it'll help you to have some discernment so that when you hear something on news, you'll get like a tilt in your mind if something doesn't sound right. See, right now, the reason so many Americans and people in the West are believing these lies about Vladimir Putin is because they don't know who he is as a person. It's like, imagine you were married to somebody, okay, and you really got to know them because they lived with you and you know who they were. And sometimes even married people can be fooled, but let's say you were close to this person and you really knew who they were, and somebody came in with these outrageous accusations against them. You wouldn't probably know whether it's true or not based on your knowledge of who that person is. So that's the best way to find out the truth because there's so many lies about Vladimir. The Republicans are saying that that the Democrats and the Russians colluded. Oh, Hillary Clinton sold our uranium to Russia. Hey, I got news for you. Hillary Clinton was pretty decent until about 2015. Another thing is, it doesn't matter if she sold our uranium to Russia. Did you know that Barack Obama and Vladimir Putin and I decided that we would join our military forces together to fight the Jesuits? Which is why the real Barack Obama was murdered in 2012 for that reason. We have a military alliance with Russia under my conspiracy law government. I'm the U.S. Empress. Okay? We got an alliance, so it's not a big deal that Hillary sold our uranium to Russia. Because Russia and the U.S. are allies. Now, Lori McBride has tried to make it like that Russia needs to be our enemy. But why does Russia need to be our enemy? Except that Lori McBride needs for them to be our enemy. Because Lori McBride knows that if the United States and Russia ever got together militarily, and she's not able to cause divisions between us, we could defeat her. Because we have these two countries, the U.S. and Russia, have the strongest military arsenal in the world. And if we get together and she can't divide us, we can defeat her. And I think I've proposed a way how we can get together and defeat her. Okay, so check out my Putin Russia page, okay? Get to know the real Vladimir Putin so that when you watch the news, you can separate fact from fiction using your emotional IQ, okay? And I wrote some new law, and here's how I'm going to deal with this onslaught of fake news. I've written law that, you know, that they're supposed to check with this conspiracy, with our government before they post any news about Vladimir Putin or Donald Trump, and they're not doing that. There's fake news just going. Lori McBride's response to my new law, she's just flaunting it flagrantly. And now we're getting even more fake news than before I wrote the law. And I think she's doing this on purpose to make me and my law seem like a joke. So here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to take severe measures to deal with her. I have ordered my men, as the U.S. and Russian Empress, to destroy every single satellite in space using mini Sarakaki bombs. And the way they work is they encase the bomb, and then they fling it in the satellite, and they fling it deep into Satan's ocean. There's an ocean in deep space, and it's filled with semen right now due to a battle that we had with the Jesuits where the Jesuits lost. They launched a super Nukaki to me. It ricocheted off my Gail shield, and now there's an ocean out there in deep space, and it's huge, and it's filled with Satan's semen. I mean, I guess I should say Satan's semen. It is Satan. It's filled with Jesuit semen, and right now, we fling all the Lori McBride Jesuits that we capture with our mini Sarakakis out into deep space. And what I've written is, I've written new law. Check the link underneath this page. I'm not going to read the law like I usually do because this law is mainly directed towards our scientists and military, and they're the ones that need to know what the law is. The citizens don't need to know, unless you just want to know what's going on with our battles. But I'll have that law underneath this video for your information if you'd like to read it. So all satellites under this new law will be destroyed and replaced with King David satellites. And the King David satellite is going to be programmed that it will launch mini Sarakakis onto any signals that come toward it that don't belong to our conspiracy law network. And it will send a bomb to the source of that signal, and then we'll encase the source of that signal and fling it out to Satan's ocean. So this is how we're going to get rid of CNN and MSNBC. And we're just going to take the whole news site, encase it with the bomb. Now, these bombs are designed that they only take out the guilty people. So let's say there's some innocent people at that news station. The bomb will separate the good from the bad people and will eject the good people out of the encasement so that only the evil people will be in the encasement. So I invented this thing. And then they'll be flung out into Satan's ocean. You have to read my description below to see exactly how this bomb works. So basically, with this new law, all our current satellites will be destroyed and then replaced with King David satellites. And you have to be a registered satellite owner to use a satellite now. So if you don't belong to a conspiracy law, if you do not honor conspiracy law, we will not register you. And if we get any signals from an unregistered person, we're going to send a bomb to them and take them out. That's right. So this means that the lying news networks are not going to be able to broadcast because they won't have access to satellite. You see, but they can create their own satellites. No, the way I've written this law, they're not going to be able to do that. We're going to destroy any satellite out there that doesn't belong to our network. You say, what about people that aren't conspiracy law honoring nations? What's going to happen? Their satellites are going to go too. We've declared war on them by taking out all their satellites. If they won't honor my conspiracy law to help us remove Lori McBride and her evil network, then we will take out all of their satellites, and they're not going to be able to communicate. So that one of the ways Lori's winning is she's getting everybody all confused, and she's getting her enemies to fighting each other. This is not a war between Republicans and Democrats. That's what Lori McBride wants it to be. She wants it to be between Republicans and Democrats. This is a war between those who are for Lori McBride and those who are against her. She's evil. She actually meets with Satan. She's evil. Okay, so that's how I'm going to deal with fake news now. We're trying to enforce our laws, but she's using her cloned versions of the internet to overpower our signals and just forcing fake news on everybody. So we got to take out the satellites so she can't do that. Also, I believe that I heard on mainstream Fox News that Trump was condemning Russia for that Salisbury, England poisoning of that spy and his wife. That's all fake news. I don't even think that was Trump who did that. I think that might have been a Trump automaton. And so you're hearing fake news about that. I don't even think Trump is condemning Putin. I think that's all fake news. Lori McBride's making that up. She's doing that. And I just wrote laws saying that we won't have any sanctions against Russia, and Trump says he's putting sanctions against Russia. I think that's fake news too. If you want to get the real news, you need to go to Gabriel Chana, Fox News 00 on cable. So all these accusations about Russia has done nothing to us. They don't need to do anything to us. This is where you use your emotional IQ. Vladimir's not worried about meddling in the U.S. elections because we are in an alliance with Russia, and Russia and the U.S. are both conspiracy law honoring nations, and the elections have to be conducted according to my conspiracy law. So with my conspiracy law in force here in the United States, Vladimir doesn't need to mess with U.S. elections. We're allies. So Lori McBride just making all this stuff up to get all the Democrats and Republicans mad at each other. And while they're fighting each other, she's having a party. She's like, oh, they're not going after me. They're fighting each other. No, we're going to get together now. We're going to go after her. We're going to take down all her satellites. So it's going to be a lot harder for her to put out fake news now. Like, you know, in that baseball game, let me tell you how bad the fake news is. Remember that baseball game where the congressmen, the Democrats, and the Republicans were at a baseball game? Well, what really happened is that a crazy Lori McBride, female Jesuit, who was a supporter of Kathy Griffin, she went to there with a gun and she intended to shoot all the Republican congressmen, but she was such a bad aim, she took out all the Democratic congressmen. And what you're seeing right now, all these Democratic congressmen, they're all automatons. They've been replaced with automatons because she killed them all. She also killed Steve Scalise. She got one Republican. He died in the hospital later after his wounds. And you're seeing a Steve Scalise automaton on television now. He's dead. Steve Scalise is in heaven. He's dead. But see, this is what I mean. Fake news. Everything's fake news. Okay. So anyways, I've pretty much covered everything I want to cover. Go ahead and read my latest laws underneath this video. And folks, there is so much lying out there. You're going to have to start using your own brains and your own emotional IQ to help you to try to figure things out. Though you may not know all the nitty-gritty details, I can assure you Russia has not interfered in United States elections, and everything from both parties claiming that Russia's behind it is a bunch of crap, okay? You are falling for Lori McBride's fake news, okay? Go check out my Russia Putin page. Get to know who Vladimir Putin is as a person so you can have some emotional IQ to kind of smell out a lie when it's coming at you.